Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Milifortic Model D100. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but you guys know the deal by now. It's not going to sway my review one way or another. You're always going to get my honest opinion on this channel, no matter how I get a watch. And if by the end of this review you do want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a couple links down below. One of them is to the official Milifortic website. Another one is to the AliExpress website. So if you use the AliExpress website, that is an affiliate link. It's an easy way for you guys to help support the channel. So I really do appreciate the continued support. The retail price of this watch is just under $200 US. That does include US tariffs, so be sure to check out the price in your country. The watch comes in 4 different colorways that you can see here on screen now. Pretty standard for this style of watch. I think they all look pretty darn good. The watch case and bracelet are made of 316L stainless steel, has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance, BGW9 Swiss Luminova on the dial and the hands, and the watch is powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So there's been a lot of questions whether or not this is the best sub homage out there. It is really, really good, but I'm going to save that comparison for a later video. I do have a Suggest sub coming in, probably going to have the new Watch Dives sub coming in, and I'm going to try and get myself a Chronos sub as well. So yeah, we should have a pretty nice comparison of the top tier subs coming up pretty soon. So stay tuned for that video. But is this one here any good? Short answer is yes. The long answer is in this video. So I say we get right into it. But before we do a quick wrist check today. Wearing another green beauty. This is the Seiko SPB 121. I absolutely love this watch. All right, so let's get into dimensions. We got bezel diameter of 40.2 millimeters, 12.1 millimeters thick, 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 47.6 millimeters. And on the bracelet, sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist, it weighs 147 grams. So if you guys are in the market for a sub homage, you probably already knew those measurements, at least from the top down. The one surprising one is the 12 millimeter thick, so it is nice and slim, especially for an NH35. They got a pretty shallow rehout on this as well, but everything else is pretty standard, 40 by 47 with a 20 millimeter lug width and right around 150 grams. So it wears pretty much like all the other ones. I think because it has female end links, if you have a smaller wrist, it's going to wear better for you. So it doesn't have those protruding end links like all the other ones do. So that is something to consider. For me, it doesn't really wear any differently. So yeah, I do think it wears great. I mean, this is a classic size and design for a reason. So yeah, I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and honestly, it wears fine for me. The female end links, they don't really change the way that this watch wears. It's pretty much the perfect size for a wrist like mine, and yeah, I like the way that it wears. It's very flat, nice thickness on this one, very comfortable, feels balanced on the wrist as well. So yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with the way this thing wears. And here we are, a little bit of sunlight there. It's a nice strong sunburst. I like the color on this one. I think it looks really good. Yeah, I don't think these watches look great on straps. I have one strap that might look okay, and I will throw it on that for you, but otherwise, I would say keep it on the bracelet. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this style of case with straps. There's a nice bright sun for you, just to give you an idea. AR coating looks fantastic on this watch in person too. Alright, so I kind of lied to you guys. I had a strap in mind for this watch, and I battled with it for about 20 minutes, and it would not come on. So yeah, this is as good as we're going to get, just a flat cut, FKM cut to size, and kind of that Oyster Flex style. Like I said, I don't think these look particularly good on any other strap other than like an Oyster Flex, like a fitted Oyster Flex style strap, which you can get all over AliExpress. I just don't have one in the collection. So yeah, I think that's about as good as I have to show you guys. So I'm going to go back inside and we'll get back to this review. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing, and it's really not a surprise, as the case finishing is the same on pretty much all of them now these days. So it is a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. You have vertical brushing on the tops of the lugs, matching the bracelet just perfectly in my opinion. Then you have polishing on the case sides, and again, very nicely done. Nice smooth polishing from Milifortic. Milifortic is a Baltony sub-brand, so you know that their finishing is excellent. You can see here we have polished crown guards and polishing on this side as well. We do have a nice signed MF crown there. That looks really nice. It's all centered in there nicely, and really thin mid case. It does feel sharp, just like pretty much any other one that I've had. This bottom edge here is sharp. This edge over here still pretty sharp. I've definitely felt sharper, but it's really not good. I mean, it's not bad. It's just it's not any better than any other one. These lug tips here, these are also a little bit sharp. Same with the inside lug tips. So they do have a little bit of room for improvement. I saw another review on this watch of he who now shall not be named, said that this was nicely rounded off and super smooth, and it's not. I have an old St. Martin SN017 sitting around that has the same sharpness, same feel. So it's typical with this style of case. I'm pretty sure even the Rolex is pretty close to this one. So yeah, it maybe feels a little bit nicer than the St. Martin, but it's definitely not knocked down, like he said, not rounded off at all. It's still a pretty sharp edge, and that does leave a mark on my wrist. It's just something that you kind of have to expect when you're dealing with this style of watch, in my opinion. It's just not something that they can really get away with and have it look good still. So we'll see how the other ones stack up, but yeah, it still needs a little bit of refinement. But I will say the brushing is excellent, the polishing is excellent, the signed crown is very nice, and the case back super smooth. Got no issues with it other than the fact that it is this Rolex style, which I'm not a fan of. I would rather just have simple notches there, but yeah, it's pretty much what we get on everything these days. So yeah, not a huge fan of this, but it's fine. It's there's no sharp edges on it, and that's the big thing. So it is very comfortable to wear. So I think case finishing wise, it's good. It's just not great. Could use a little bit more refinement. File down those sharp edges and those sharp corners, and I think it would be great. All right, so let's talk about the bezel. So first off, the bezel insert. It's a ceramic bezel insert, which we expect at this price point. And it's very, very nicely done. Yeah, nice deep engravings. I'm hoping those come across. And then they are not white paint filled. They are silver paint filled. So they kind of have a dull effect to them, pretty close to what the original is. So yeah, really nicely done. I'll show you guys, hopefully show you guys. It's kind of a silver paint fill there. Definitely not a stark white. So it does look really good. You have a loomed pip at the 12 o'clock position. Everything is aligned just perfectly on this watch. The bezel itself, stainless steel, as you can see here, polishing on the top, brushing on the edge there, and then polishing in all those little scallops. The grip on this is perfect. The resistance is maybe just a touch light, but not too bad. It reminds me a lot of the Sugas one. It's very crisp clicks, very silky and kind of slick feeling. It feels really good. There's no back play in it at all. There's no movement in the bezel anywhere. It's a very nice bezel. I'll let you listen to the clicks here. So it is a very kind of, like I said, like a very clicky and very satisfying bezel. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those bezels that I just want to keep turning because it's so satisfying to turn. So it's not the clicks of like a St. Martin, which are very, I'll say, deliberate and notchy feeling. This is just very slick and silky smooth. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good bezel, one of the better ones. So yeah, very happy with the bezel action on this watch. All right, so let's talk about the crystal. Let's test it for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. The Cyclops is sapphire as well. So it's nice to see we have a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. We have a sapphire Cyclops as well. You can see the magnification on that is great. It does have some blue anti-reflective coating on it. The crystal is just clear air coating. It's a very nice one. It's a flat crystal. Sits ever so slightly above the bezel, as you can see there. A little bit of a chamfer around the outside, but otherwise very uneventful and just a perfect crystal for this style of watch. It's exactly what I expected. Yeah, the crystal is really, really good on it. Anti-reflective coating on a flat crystal is just a bonus. So yeah, they gave it some AR coating on it, and you can definitely tell it's a very good, solid crystal, and I like to see sapphire on that Cyclops as well. So yeah, no complaints here. So So getting up real close, you can see we have no surprises here. This is a very nice sunburst dial. I believe the black one is just a glossy black dial, no sunburst on it. The blue looks like that has sunburst on it as well. So yeah, really just a very nice, it's not like a super aggressive sunburst, and I think it matches the bezel color pretty much spot on. It looks really, really good. We have applied indices at all the hour markers, simple cutout for the date window. Everything seems centered there. Pretty typical handset for this as well. There's nothing out of the ordinary. There's nothing unusual. They chose, the proportion is perfect. The printed minute track around the outside is pretty much centered spot on. So yeah, I don't see anything that sticks out as being out of place or oversized or undersized. Everything looks really, really good. Good length on the hands. You have the Milifortic branding there, automatic 600 feet, 200 meters at the 6 o'clock. I think that text there is maybe just a little bit low. It could be bumped up just a notch, but it really doesn't look that bad at all, and everything seems aligned nicely. And yeah, I mean, it's just very nicely done. I don't know what else to tell you. It just looks like they did a good job on it. The daytime color match of the Lume seems to be spot on as well. It's a nice crisp white. Yeah, it all looks very good. The Lume on this watch, I'm going to pop it up against a couple other watches in the collection, and here you can see it against those, and it does very, very well. I say the Willard is like a solid 7 out of 10, and this one puts that one to shame. So this is a good 8.5 to 9 out of 10 as far as the Lume goes. It's a nice even application of that BGW9, so it's that ice blue glow, and it's just a very, very good Lume. So yeah, really no issues with the dial on this watch. I think it's done perfect. All right, so let's talk about the movement in the watch. So we are looking at the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So it is your typical workhorse movement from Seiko. So 21,600 beats per hour. So 6 ticks of the second hand every second. It hacks, hand winds, bidirectional winding rotor, roughly 40 hours of power reserve. It does everything you need it to do. It's going to be accurate enough and reliable enough for a very long, long time. So yeah, these movements are great for this watch in my opinion. I've got no issues with it. This one here, you got a screw-in crown. Screw in and screw out action is nice and buttery smooth. Not too much of a pop out from the NH35, but you can definitely feel it release. The first position is your hand winding, nice and smooth. Second position is your date. Again, everything seems to be centered in there nicely. Let you look at that there. And then pull it out to the third position. This is where it sets or hacks the movement. Setting your time, you can see the hand alignment looks pretty good. No issues here. The crown feels nice and solid. There's hardly any wobble to it at all. You push it in, starts up the movement every time, and the screw-in action is just buttery smooth. So yeah, really no complaints with this one. Here's how mine has been running. Yeah, there's not too much to complain about when you get a movement like this and a watch like this. It's just perfect in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet. So bracelet is a little bit different than what you're typically used to on a watch like this. The finishing is the same, so you have brushing on the top and polishing on the sides. We have 3 solid links, we have solid end links, and then we have female pivot end links, which is the unusual part. Usually you have this male piece that's sticking out a little bit. So this one, it's going to fit smaller wrists nicely in my opinion. Much better than a male end link is. So it's definitely not as clean looking, I'll say that, but it does still look pretty good. It's 20 millimeters and it tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. And then we have screws for sizing there. I removed 1 link for my 7.5 inch wrist. It looks like we've got 5 links left to remove. Everything is very nice as far as the bracelet goes. It's nice, tight tolerances. It feels like a solid bracelet. The fluidity is there. It's not overly sharp on this bottom edge like San Martin bracelets usually are. So it's very nice. I will say the spring bars inside are super, super tight in there. They're nice quality spring bars, but they are super tight. I spent 20 minutes trying to get the bracelet off of this watch. The tolerances between the lugs are super tight as well, so there's no unsightly gaps or anything like that. It's very well integrated, I'll say that, but man, was it a total nightmare to get this bracelet off. One of the most difficult bracelets I've had to get off in a long time. So just something to consider. I do think this watch looks best on the bracelet, so it'll probably be staying on that for me. But yeah, the clasp on the watch here, we have a milled clasp. We have the Milifortic branding, brushing on the top, brushing on the side, and a nice polished chamfer there. So visually, I'd like to see maybe polishing on the sides, but it's fine. It's not unusual for Milifortic to mismatch their bracelets or their clasps like this. The big thing is whether the clasp is nice, and I gotta say it is nice. It's a milled outer shell, milled inner pieces here, as you can see, nice tight tolerances. It opens and closes every single time. You have 4 levels of micro adjust, so this is where this will differ from some of the other watches out there. They have that Rolex style of clasp, and some of them have glide lock, some of them don't. So yeah, this one is just a normal clasp with normal micro adjust. I don't hate this. You know, it's just different. So yeah, I think you know, I'd like to see some on the fly adjustment, but really this is a nice, solid, and you know, good working clasp, and I think it's, you know, pretty good size as far as the weight distribution goes. It doesn't feel top heavy or bottom heavy or anything like that. So yeah, I do like this clasp, and there's no real sharp edges on it at all. You know, maybe this back edge here is a little bit sharp, but the corners, that's the big thing. The corners on these things can be sharp, and this one's really not sharp at all. So I do like the clasp. I think it's you know, low profile and comfortable, and yeah, it's just something a little bit different and makes this a little bit more wearable for a smaller wrist. And yeah, that's kind of the one they're going after, is the people with a smaller wrist that still want this sub look. This is going to be the perfect one. So there you go, guys. That is the Milifortic D100. In my opinion, I'm not convinced that it's the best sub out there. I think it's just different. If you're looking for something that'll fit a smaller wrist better, this is probably the best one. But we'll see in the next video when I get, you know, 3 or 4 of these things all in one place and get the latest versions of each one. We'll see how they stack up when it comes to it in the end. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that video, because this is not a model or an homage that I've really gone after recently, but I know that they're still very popular. So yeah, I figured I would get this one on camera for you. If you are in the market for one, this is one that you should definitely consider. 100%. It is very, very nice. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.